Hi everyone and welcome to Critical Psychology SLK 320. I'm your lecturer for this quarter and I'll be focusing on critical psychology specifically. Dr. Inyombeni Matamela will then guide you through the community section in the fourth quarter. But for now, we're going to focus on critical psychology for this quarter then. So my name is Suleiman Philander. I've taught this module for a number of years. Quite new to the online environment, but yeah, and still getting used to it in many ways. But I think it can work for critical psychology as well. So I'm currently doing my PhD and I'm focusing on emotion, and you might hear a lot of that throughout my lectures. I might refer to emotion a number of times throughout my lectures. Um, but yeah, I think let's try and figure out critical psychology together then. I know it's often a difficult module for students, but I think you just need to give yourself some time then in terms of grasping the material and finding your way, becoming used to thinking in a certain way then. So, like I said, it is quite a different module, and I think my approach is going to be to try and guide you through the module and to do that in a conversational way. So, a lot of my lectures will feel like or feel conversational to a large extent. I think this might help you grasp material in a different way. So the goal with the lectures, the recorded lectures, will be for me to just give you an overview of what the content is about and how to approach the content when you are reading it. And speaking of which, the content is quite complex at times, it's quite different, it's difficult, it's not as structured and straightforward as some of the other content you might have encountered before. So do give yourself quite a bit of time to go through the content. It's not something you can read through once and fully grasp. Each reading provides you with a different facet of understanding the content that we cover for this module. If you do need any help with that content, I have listed my consultation hours here, and you'll also see that there are additional hours available in the study guide. If you need to contact me, you can do so via email, or you can do so via the collaborate link that's included in the study guide. Just a note that that link does use data, and quite a lot of it, if you are enabling video as well. So I would suggest that if your query can be resolved via email, follow that route instead. But if you do need to talk in person or virtually as it were, that link is then there for that purpose. Then you can then make an appointment with me and give me an idea of what you'd like to discuss, and we can then meet via that link as required. So that link will mainly be for that purpose. Outside of that virtual office space, the lectures will be recorded lectures, and this gives you a good opportunity to go through the material as many times as needed in order to grasp it. It also allows you to pause, to reflect, and then to continue when you are ready to do so. The prescribed book that we'll be using for this quarter is by Derek Hook, who is the overall editor, and the book's name is Critical Psychology. I've recently seen that there are updates of this book in the link provided below. The authors may have even made the full text or sections of the text available. So I'm leaving the link here. It's something that you can follow up um, in your own time, but we have then also provided other avenues for the textbook as well in the study guide. Speaking of which, please do go through that study guide, all the required rules and regulations, and additional rules that are required for this module are available in there. So please do make use of that study guide in order to keep up with what's important in the module. ClickUp will also house most of the announcements that are important for this module, so please also check ClickUp regularly then. So for those who are wondering who is talking, or if you're trying to put a face to the name, my name is Suleiman Philander, as I've said before. I'm currently starting really to do my PhD within psychology. That PhD is focused on emotion within the discipline of psychology, so you'll likely hear me refer to emotion a lot throughout psychology, throughout this module. And also alongside my picture is then a picture of the required textbook. So you'll see in the study guide that there's information relating to the ebook version of that book. We've also tried to get limited versions available through the library. So there should be a few avenues available for you to get that textbook as required. It is really not possible for us to do this module without the textbook, and so I urge you to then get that textbook as soon as you can. So now that you've put the face to the name, you know what they look like, that gives you some sense of who I am then, I guess, and who's talking in the recorded lectures each week. I just want to then just further emphasize the study guide once again. It really is quite important, and it contains a lot of information that you need. Lots of the time students in previous years have made mistakes that could have been avoided if they just gone through the study guide comprehensively. So just to start off with, my contact information is in there as I've indicated. My consult hours, the link for my virtual office is also included there, and any updates will also be placed on ClickUp or in the study guide. Then there's no specific physical lectures due to the pandemic, but there are recorded lectures as outlined in the study guide as well. What's also might be useful is that I've provided the schedule for the release of the lectures on a weekly basis. It gives you a sense of what you need to cover when, and so you can really start to manage your own time and structure your time so that you get the most out of this course then. The test timetable as well as all the test dates are also included in the study guide. You'll note that there are tests also scheduled for those who may have experienced connectivity issues or have fallen ill. So there are in essence 2 tests for the module, but there are then 2 additional tests in the event of any unforeseen circumstances taking place. So I have mentioned before that the study material is quite difficult. It's not the easiest book to follow. It takes quite a number of reads, and it takes a need to understand the material rather than memorize. The need to really grasp what they're saying. And part of doing that would be then to also engage with your peers. And you can do this via ClickUp. There will be a dedicated discussion forum for this purpose. And I urge you then to use this forum to, to, to work together in order to demystify the material. The mystery of the material lies within its uncertainty. And the more you talk to others, talk to me, follow the lectures, the more you start to understand how the material is relevant and what is important about it. So this course can get quite lonely if you're not doing that, and you'll see what I mean when you start reading the text. So I do urge you to make full use of that discussion forum. It's also important that that forum belongs to you as students. It is a forum that is not going to be dominated by me as the lecturer. Rather, it's going to be about students discussing the work and exploring the work together, understanding the work. I will, from time to time, also make comments, add ideas, but the main goal is to provide a platform for the class to speak together about topics that are important to all of you then in relation to the material. The other assessment criteria and rules are also available in the study guide. You'll see, for example, how the semester mark is calculated, what are the rules regarding connectivity issues, and so forth. So please do consult your study guide in that regard. Another important point that is in the study guide is the grievance procedures that you should follow if you do have an issue. Your first line of communication is obviously your study guide, and your class representative. So if you do have an issue, speak to them, speak to me before moving on to the coordinator and so forth. Obviously, if the issue concerns me as a lecturer, you can then speak to either the class rep or the module coordinator directly then. The last thing that you'll find in the study guide is also the module outline and the learning objectives. This gives you a good, clear guide or guiding path in terms of what you should be doing when and what's important within the weeks to come throughout this module. So I do again urge you, use that study guide fully, really understand how the module is structured and what the rules are regarding this module. So I'm not gonna dive into content right now. As I said, this is an introductory short lecture, if you want to call it that, at present. But I will start off with a quote, and hopefully that will give you some idea of what's to follow. So I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man or woman is not he or she who does not feel afraid, but he or she who conquers that fear. That quote was by Nelson Mandela, whose birthday and day we celebrated recently. I use that quote because of the impact he's had on our country and our society in South Africa. Some would even go so far as to say he's had more of a positive impact than psychology as a discipline. But we'll get to why that's important when we go through the work. The important point I'm trying to make here is that we start off with the unknown, but the key here is not suppressing or ignoring your fears. Instead, you should embrace it with an open mind. Only then will the content come alive to you. This module, above all else, requires your patience, an open mind, and the need to learn, understand, and apply. Although that learning is quite different under online circumstances, we're going to try and make the best of our current context. And we're going to try and see how critical psychology as well fits into that online environment and how it changes things. So that is all from me for now in my short introduction. I hope to see you on the discussion forums, and I hope you find the lectures quite helpful. I hope to also get your feedback throughout the quarter, just so that I get a sense of where you are in terms of understanding the material as well. But yeah, everyone, we all have to start somewhere, and we are always afraid of uncertainty until we learn to embrace it. So that's important here, and I hope that you find the courage to overcome any fears you may have. Thank you, and see you soon. Bye for now.